Hello, I'm JP Ependino. I'm an epileptologist, a doctor that works with epilepsy.
My name is Maggie and I'm 34 years old and I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 25.
And my name is Lynn and my son's name is Cameron. Cameron was about 5 months old when he started having seizures.
My name is Colleen and my son Owen has a rare and severe form of epilepsy.
My name is Chloe Chapdelaine. I'm 23 years old and I started having seizures when I was 15 years old.
Bella was 3 weeks old when we confirmed her seizures via EEG.
Hi, my name is Nicole and my son is Bosco. Bosco is 4 years old and he has Down syndrome. When he was 15 months old, we also discovered that he has a rare form of epilepsy called infantile spasms.
Living with epilepsy or having a child, especially a small child with epilepsy, has been difficult.
What is a seizure is a brainstorm. Brainstorm is because our brain works with electrical signals to send the message to our muscles to move, for thinking, to remember, and when that electrical signal is way too much, there is a seizure. We cannot control this storm.
So for Owen, he's actually never known a life without seizures. He hasn't had a seizure-free day in over 2 years, and it's difficult for him. The epilepsy makes it really difficult for him to do daily tasks. He's still struggling to learn to walk and talk. It's difficult for him to pretty much do anything when his day keeps getting interrupted with seizures.
So the experience of having seizures for me can be really scary and really draining. I'll feel exhausted afterwards, but it doesn't hurt or anything like that. And thankfully, I have them under control and I haven't had a seizure in over 5 years. As soon as I started having them, I was immediately put on medication and I had to try a few different ones because the first medication didn't work for me so well. And they even discussed brain surgery, but after a few different options, I finally got them under control and I have been seizure-free. So I'm able to go to university and drive a car, and I'm pretty fortunate to be able to do these things like go swimming and do the things that I want, because right when I was diagnosed, I didn't think I would be able to do those things.
The type of epilepsy that I have is called juvenile myoclonic. There's many different kinds of seizures, and myoclonic seizures are the main ones that I have, and those just consist of a little body jerk. My seizures usually happen in the morning. If they get too close together, the body jerks, if they're too close together, which means the brain activity is just happening too quickly, then I can actually go into a grand mal seizure, which is when I actually black out and my body convulses. I actually don't remember those ones, but it can be painful afterwards when my body is really stiff. Sometimes I bite my tongue, and I just usually need to rest for the day. It can just be really exhausting when your whole body seizes up.
We sometimes look like we are chewing gum, and we are not really, or we are staring into space like nothing. So all those can be seizures.
Bella had focal seizures. They would start in her left hemisphere where those brain abnormalities are, and they would travel throughout her brain to be a generalized seizure. When Bella was having seizures, she was having anywhere from 25 to 50 seizures a day. Some would stay focal, so they would just stay in that part of the brain, but most of them would become generalized. And when she would seize, it would start off with some eye flickering and blinking, and then move into full-on twitching of her face and a little bit of like convulsions of her body, but still very subtle that most people, when they saw it, didn't even realize she was having a seizure. Before Bella's seizures, I had never seen a seizure in my life before. So I think the biggest thing as a parent with a child with epilepsy is you just feel incredibly helpless, because there's really nothing you can do during a seizure. You just have to make sure that they're safe and that they get through it. Especially when your child has intractable epilepsy, which means that no medicine can stop their seizures. You just a lot of times have to live daily, like we did, watching multiple times a day your baby seize, and there's just nothing you can do about it.
Before epilepsy came knocking at my door, I really had no idea that there were people struggling with this condition. I didn't know there's entire floors at hospitals for people with epilepsy. It's called the Epilepsy Monitoring Unit. Every major hospital has one. I had no idea. I had no idea that there's doctors who specialize in only treating epilepsy. I didn't know that there's 40 different medications for treating epilepsy, and honestly, I didn't know that there wasn't a cure. I really just want people to accept Owen for who he is and accept his differences and just try to get to know him despite all the struggles that he's been through and despite the things that he isn't able to do. He's still a person with emotions, and he has a lot to give. He has a lot of value.
In Bosco's case, we found out that his infantile spasms were triggered by a dairy allergy. Once we removed dairy from his diet, he not only began to hit his milestones, but he's been seizure-free ever since. That was 3 years ago, and we are very grateful.
Hi, my name is Karen, and this is Huxley, and this is Ollie. And we choose Hux to be a service dog, and he usually takes care of my seizures.
Yeah, he helps to detect your seizures. That's what he's being trained to do, right?
Yeah.
1 in 10 people in their lifetime will have a seizure. So this affects most of us, and it affects a lot of people in this world. But the thing is, epilepsy is so under-researched and underfunded compared to how many people it affects in this world. I think the biggest thing that we can do is bring awareness to epilepsy and to the individuals affected by it.
It's kind of scary when he has seizures because it looks kind of weird and it's very scary. So when he has seizures, then I don't really like it because then it scares me and it makes me really worried. I want people to know that Jack is still really loving and he's the best brother ever.
So for people who don't have epilepsy, what I would just say is be kind, whether the person has epilepsy or not. People with epilepsy come from all different kinds of backgrounds. Sometimes they'll look the same as you, but sometimes they won't. They might talk different, act different, look different, and that's totally okay. People who do have epilepsy, I just want you to know that you are not alone. You are so loved, you are so needed, you are so important no matter what your abilities are, no matter what you can or can't do.
Hi, I'm Jack's mom, and my goal with creating this video for Purple Day for Epilepsy was to raise awareness for kids to understand that epilepsy looks different for every single person. I am Jack's biggest advocate, and my goal is to educate as many people as I possibly can about epilepsy. So thank you so much for everybody who was involved in my video, and a special extra thank you to Maddie, who is a dear friend of mine, and she compiled the video and edited everything. So I couldn't be more grateful to everybody. Thank you.
So if one of your friends is having a seizure, we've got a bit of advice for you. First thing is don't be scared. Second, move anything away from them that they could hurt themselves on. Third, don't try to hold them down or put anything in their mouth. And then when they do wake up, you're going to roll them onto their side, and then you can start trying to call for help.